Measures of leverage EOC questions taken from your curriculum. The first question: if two companies have identical unit sales volume is the same for two companies, that's the sales quantity is the same, and operating risk means the fixed cost is the same, they are most likely to also have identical what? If unit sales volume is the same, operating risk is the same, sales risk is not necessarily the same. Sales risk depend upon the quantity and selling price, so they may not be same for two firms. Business risk, they may be two businesses for totally different sectors. So this is not true. Yes, what is true? The sensitivity of operating earnings to changes in the number of units produced would be the same. The quantity goes up and down, your operating earnings move in the same proportion as your quantity sold. This means that both businesses have identical operating leverage. They may not have the same sales risk, they may not have the same business risk, but their sensitivity of operating earnings with regard to changes in number of units produced would be the same. So yes, you got it right. C is the right answer. Next. Degree of operating leverage is best described as a measure of sensitivity of what? Net earnings? No. Net earnings is used for financial leverage. Net earnings upon changes in sales, this is basically used to calculate the degree of total leverage. If you see the list of formulas, this is what relates. Net earning and sales are joined together through degree of total leverage. Fixed operating cost to changes in variable cost. Fixed operating cost volatility is not determined by variable cost. Wrong. Wrong. Variable cost doesn't determine the volatility in fixed cost. This is a wrong statement. Nonsense statement. Yes, operating earnings to changes in the number of units produced and sold. That makes sense. EBIT, this is basically the formula. Percentage change in EBIT upon percentage change in the quantity sold. So that is C. Absolutely, C is the right result. Next. The Fulcrum company produces decorative swivel platforms for home televisions. If Fulcrum produces 40 million units, that's the quantity. It estimates that it can sell them each for $100. That's the price. Variable production cost is 65. This is the VC, which you call the variable cost. And fixed production cost is $1.05 billion. A huge amount. That's F. Okay. Now, which of the following statement is most accurate holding all else constant? The Fulcrum company generates positive operating income if unit sales were 25 million. You can give it a try. 25 million units, each unit generating a contribution of 65 less 100, 35. So 25 million units sold multiplied by each unit generating a contribution of 35. So multiplying 25 million units with 35 of contribution per unit. So it's going to be 25 million times 35 is going to be $875 million. $875 million. This is contribution. And what's contribution? Sales minus variable cost multiplied by the units sold. This is called contribution. We discussed this in detail. Now this contribution is not enough to cover your $1.05 billion fixed cost. Thereby, this contribution, when you deduct 1.05 billion from contribution, you will incur an operating loss. So there is no operating income. In fact, there is an operating loss, not operating income. So A is incorrect. B, have less operating leverage if the fixed production cost were 10% greater. Wrong. If fixed cost is more, it will result in higher operating leverage. This is wrong as well. Then if you just want to guess, C is the right answer. If you just want to guess, because A and B are wrong. Save time, click C and move on in the exam, but not here. Here we will solve, we will find the degree of operating leverage using this formula. Degree of operating leverage, generate 20% more operating income if the unit sales were 5% greater than 40. 20% more operating result. Let us see Let us first find degree of operating leverage, then we will plug in the numbers and get our result. Degree of operating leverage is equal to quantity multiplied by, that is contribution per unit sales minus variable cost upon QS minus V minus fixed cost. Let us plug in the numbers to find the DOL, then we will be able to interpret that to what extent the profit increased by certain changes in sales. Okay, here we go. 40 millions are the number of units sold. Selling price is 100, variable cost is 65. 40 into 100 minus 65 minus the fixed cost, that is 1.05 billion. If you solve this all, it will give you 4. What does it mean? It means this business has a degree of operating leverage 4. It means 1% increase in sales will result in 4% increase in your operating income. And if your sales go up by 5%, 5 multiplied by 4, it means your operating income will go up by 20%. Perfect, right? Generate 20% more operating income if the unit sales were 5% greater. So if your unit sales go up by 5%, 5 times 4, your operating incomes go up by 20%. Now we are convinced that it's C. C it is. Next, the business risk of a particular company is most accurately measured by what? Debt to equity ratio. It's a measure of solvency, not a measure of business risk. Business risk is the risk of earning low profit or incurring a loss. That's what you call a business risk. So debt to equity is a measure of solvency, not a right option. Efficiency in using assets to generate sales. Sales upon average total assets. It's the total assets turnover ratio. It's a measure of efficiency. It's not the measure of business risk. Yes, business risk is measured company's operating leverage and the level of uncertainty about demand, output prices and competition. Yes, this is business risk. Business risk is combination of sales risk and operating risk. So these two together will measure a business risk. Output prices, output in total, operating leverage, collectively it's business risk. Yes, C is the right answer. Next. Consider two companies that operate in the same line of business and have the same degree of operating leverage. Two businesses. One is the Basic, other is the Grand Legend. They have the same operating leverage. Operating leverage is the same for both. The Basic company and the Grand Legend, they have same degree of operating leverage. DOL is the same for both. The Basic company and the Grand Legend company have respectively no debt and 50% debt in their capital structure. Since Basic company doesn't have any debt, basically its financial leverage will not be the same as the Grand Legend, which has 50% debt in their capital structure. So which of the following statement is most accurate? Compared to the Basic company, the Grand Legend company has a lower sensitivity of net income. Net income, earning before tax, or he could have written EPS. They are all affected by financial leverage. Net income, EBT and EPS. So lower sensitivity of net income to changes in unit sales? No. Since we are focusing on Grand Legend company, this company has a higher debt in its capital structure. So it will have more financial leverage. So it will be more sensitive of net income or EBT or EPS to changes in unit sales, not lower. Wrong. The same sensitivity of operating income to changes in sales. Yes, since these two businesses, Basic and Grand Legend, they have the same degree of operating leverage. So their operating income sensitivity to changes in unit sales, it's the same. But this company, Grand Legend, it has higher financial leverage, more debt in it. So it will have more financial leverage. Degree of financial leverage will be more for this. So the same sensitivity of net income to changes in operating, no, of course not. This will have more sensitivity. Basic will have less sensitivity because Basic has no debt. So I'm sure most of you have got it right. It's B. B is the right answer. Now, this is a good question. Hyundai Motors now sells 1 million units at 315 and 3529 per unit. This is your selling price. Fixed operating cost is 1.29 million and variable operating cost is 1500 yens per unit. This is variable cost per unit. This is the selling price per unit. If the company pays 410 million in interest, that's the interest charge or the financial charges, the level of sales at the operating break-even, ye cheese, and the break-even, they are different. Break-even and operating break-even, they are different. What was the difference? We just discussed a little while earlier. Operating break-even is just the fixed cost upon sales minus variable cost, right? But break-even will not have to cover just the fixed cost. It will also have to cover the interest or financial charges. And denominator is the same, sales minus variable cost. And remember, we do not even need quantity, we need break-even dollars revenue. Operating break-even dollars revenue. It's not a big deal. We can, once we find out the quantity, we will multiply the quantity with the selling price and there you go. So let us first find, because first we need to find out the operating break-even. This one is the operating break-even. Fixed cost is 129 million, right? Your selling price per unit is 3529 only. I have already written it in millions and I need to write 3 more zeros. And the variable cost is 1500. If you simplify, you will get operating break-even in units. First, you will find it in units. Multiply this result with the revenue. What is the selling price? It will give you the break-even, operating break-even revenue. So let me calculate. It's going to be 1.290 million divided by the difference between 3529 less 1500, and it gives me 635,781 units multiplied by the selling price. This is your selling price, 3529 multiplied by 3529. It gives me 2243671. And further, it's not 0.759, quite a large number. 2.243760, $2.2 billion. $2.2 billion. Right? What about then this one? Whatever the result comes, because we need break-even dollar, not break-even quantity. If you calculate only this part, gentlemen, ladies, please, I need your attention. If you calculate just this part only, it will give you the operating break-even quantity, units. If you calculate this part only, it will give you the break-even unit quantity, right? But when you multiply it with the selling price, it will give you the break-even revenue, operating break-even revenue. So I'm going to plug in the numbers. It's going to be 1290 million. But this time I need to take interest charges as well and divide it with the contribution, that is 3529 minus 1500, and multiply this with the selling price per unit in order to calculate your break-even revenue, 3529. Its simplification will give you 2.9 billion, 2956776,737, and that perfectly matches with your option B. So please keep this difference in mind. Operating break-even involves just fixed cost. Break-even will involve interest charges if given. So that makes B to be the correct option. Next. Joan Alvanka is evaluating the risk of two companies in the machinery industry. The first one is the Gearing Company, this one. And second one is the Hebelcraft, this one. Alvanka used the latest fiscal year's financial statements and interviews with the managers of the prospective companies to gather the following information: selling price per unit, the number of units produced and sold, variable cost per unit, fixed operating cost, fixed financing expense, interest charge. Based on this information, the break-even points, mind the word, break-even points. He didn't say operating break-even. When he says break-even points, it will involve both of these fixed costs, fixed operating cost as well as fixed financing expense, and same for this one. So we have to calculate the break-even points in quantities. So we'll simply take 40 plus 20 divided by unit contribution margin, that is 200 minus 120, 80. Mind the word, these are in millions. Then for Havelcraft, fixed cost is 90, fixed financing expense is 20, and it's in millions, divided by the contribution 200 minus 100, that is just 100. So if you simplify 40 plus 20, that is 60 million divided by 80, it'll give you 750,000. 750,000 units. This is in quantities. If you multiply it with the selling price, you will get the break-even revenue. And for the next one, it's 90 plus 20 million divided by 100. It's 1100,000 or 1.1 million units. So instead of giving in 1000, he's given 0.75 million and 1.1 million. Absolutely right. That's A. A is the right result, and A it is. Now a much bigger question, and all the questions that follow will involve this data. Let us go through it quickly. Mary Ben, a CFA, is a financial analyst for Twin Fields Investments, located in Stores, Connecticut, USA. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. She has been asked by her supervisor, Bill Cho, to examine two small Japanese cell phone component manufacturers. 4G Incorporated is one of the companies, and Qphone Corporation. Okay. Cho indicates that his clients are most interested in the use of leverage by 4G and Qphone. Leverage could be possibly financial leverage or operating leverage. Mary Ben states that I will have to specifically analyze each company's respective business risk. Business risk means the risk of having lower revenue, lower profit, or losses. Sales risk, uncertainty regarding the quantity or the selling prices. Operating risk originates because of the fixed components of cost in your operations, and financial risk, that is originated because of the financial charges, interest in your leasing interest, or your loans or bonds interest in your income statement. Okay. Fine, I will check back with you shortly, Cho answers. Ben begins her analysis by examining the sales prospects of two firms. The results of her sales analysis appear in Exhibit 1 here. She also expects very little price variability for these cell phones. Price variability is less, that means sales risk with regard to selling price is less. She next gathers more data on these two companies to assist her analysis of their operating and financial risks. When Cho inquires as to her progress, Ben responds, I have calculated Qphone's degree of operating leverage and degree of financial leverage at Qphone's 2009 levels and unit. These are the data given, I think. Degree of operating leverage 1.40, degree of financial leverage 1.15, and the break-even quantity is 57429. So this is what she has done. For Qphone, break-even DOL and DFL has been calculated. Now, I will have to do the same for 4G's leverage results shortly. Cho responds, good. I will call a meeting of some potential investors for tomorrow. Please help me explain these concepts to them and the differences in the use of leverage by these two companies. In preparation for the meeting, I have a number of questions. You mentioned business risk. What is included in it? We know that what it is. We'll answer to this later. How would you classify the risk due to the varying mix of variable and fixed cost? The variability of composition of variable cost and fixed cost, this gives rise to operating leverage. We know that. We will explain later. Could you conduct an analysis and tell me how the two companies will fare relative to each other in terms of net income if their unit sales increased by 10%? So it will clearly indicate that we need to have both degree of operating and total leverage, and then we will see that what if the sale goes up by 10%, which of these companies will show more profitability comparatively, right? Good one. And finally, what would be an accurate verbal description of the degree of total leverage. What total leverage is? So these are the 4 questions we will have to answer together with the data given. The relevant data for the analysis of 4G is contained in Exhibit 2. Ben's analysis for the Qphone data is given in Exhibit 3. These are the DOL, DFL and the break-even quantity. And this is for 4G and Qphone together. Total sales for 2009. Standard deviation of sales, volatility in sales. As you can see, the volatility in sales for 4G is more than the volatility in sales for Qphone. So it means this will have more sales risk. 4G will have more sales risk. Why? Because it has more standard deviation. More standard deviation of unit sales. Then expected unit sales growth for 4G is 15% and for Qphone is 15%. Okay. The next one, sales cost and expense data for 4G incorporated at unit sales level of 1 million. Number of units produced and sold 1 million. Sales price per unit 108 yen. Variable cost per unit 72. Fixed operating cost 22.5 million. Fixed financing expense 9 million. Together these will give us break-even quantity, and if we just take this one, it will give us the operating break-even quantity. Okay, we have read the whole scenario. Let's see the first question. It says, based on Ben's analysis, 4G's sales risk relative to Qphone's most likely to be. We just identified that standard deviation of unit sales for 4G incorporated is more than Qphone. So it means 4G has a higher sales risk. Why? Because the standard deviation of unit sales for 4G is more than Qphone's corporation. So based on Ben's analysis, 4G sales risk relative to Qphone is most likely to be higher. The reason, the standard deviation of sales is higher. Volatility of sales is higher. Absolutely right. C is the right answer. Next, what is the most appropriate response to chose questions regarding the components of business risk? We have discussed it. We have read it earlier that business risk is a collection of operating risk plus sales risk. Operating risk and sales risk. Yes, sales risk, yes. No financial risk. Operating risk, yes. Sales risk, yes. That is the right answer. Not a financial risk. So it's absolutely right. It's B. B is the right result. The most appropriate response to chose questions regarding the classification of risk arising from the mixture of variable and fixed cost. Fixed cost is what proportion of the total cost. This is what determines your operating leverage. If fixed cost is higher, the degree of operating leverage would be higher. If fixed cost is lower proportion to the total cost, the degree of operating leverage would be lower. Since we are talking about the composition of your cost structure, variable and fixed cost, that gives rise to operating leverage, operating risk. Look no further, click C and move on. C. Next, based on the information in Exhibit 2, the degree of operating leverage of 4G incorporated at the unit sales level of 1 million is closest to. We need to go back to the scenario. Alright, so we need to calculate the degree of operating leverage for 4G. We have been given the data, but first we need to know the formula. Which formula do we use to calculate the degree of operating leverage? It's the quantity multiplied by sales minus variable cost. Sales minus variable cost is called the unit contribution margin. Divided by same factor will be repeated in the denominator, and from this deduct the fixed cost. Just plug in the numbers. Quantity is 1 million yens. Selling price is 108 yens. Variable cost is 72. Same factor in the denominator, 1 million multiplied by 108 minus 72 and minus fixed cost, fixed operating cost. Since we're talking about the degree of operating leverage, it has nothing to do with the fixed financing expense. Do not incorporate this number in this formula. Operating leverage only involves fixed operating costs. That might be a little confusion. So if you deduct 22.5 million from the denominator, and if you solve whole of this arrangement, you should get 2.67. So that's your degree of operating leverage, and this should be the correct option. That makes B to be the correct option. Next, based on the information in Exhibit 2, Forge's incorporated degree of financial leverage at a unit sales of 1 million is closest to. Now for degree of financial leverage, you can just make little adjustment in this. Degree of financial leverage is equal to the same numerator, denominator, but you need to deduct this fixed financing expense as well. Fixed financing expense given here as 9 million. So if you deduct this as well, you will get your degree of financial leverage. So remember, degree of financial leverage is equal to the formulas. You need to deduct the fixed cost from the numerator as well, and your fixed financial charges from the denominator. Basically the same idea we discussed in theory. It is the pre-interest income upon post-interest income. This is your pre-interest income. How come? Let me explain. Q into S will give you the total sales revenue. Q into V will give you the total variable cost. And this is fixed cost. So sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost is the pre-interest income. When you deduct the interest as here, you get the post-interest income. So pre-interest income upon post-interest income. If you simplify this, you will get your result. I hope it makes sense. So this is the fixed cost given here, 22.5 million. So remember, gentlemen, it's the sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost in the numerator that will give you the pre-interest income, and in the denominator same thing will repeat, but you need to deduct the interest charges. This will give you the post-interest income. So pre-interest upon post-interest, if you simplify, this will give you 3. So degree of financial leverage is 3. So degree of financial leverage, remember, I need to write down the formula neatly. It's the quantity into sales minus variable cost minus fixed operating cost, upon quantity into sales minus variable cost minus fixed operating cost minus interest or fixed financial charges. Keep that in mind. So this will give you the pre-interest income upon post-interest income, and this is how you calculate the degree of financial leverage. That's C. Next, based on the information in Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 3, Qphone's expected percentage change in operating income for 2010 is closest to. Exhibit 1 and 3, we have to use Exhibit 1 and 3, and we will have to calculate the percentage change in operating income. Let's go back. Okay, so Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 3. So for Qphone Corporation, the expected growth rate in units is 15%, and the degree of operating leverage is given as 1.40, and degree of financial leverage is 1.15. So we will use this formula. Degree of operating leverage is equal to percentage change in earning before interest and tax upon the percentage change in quantity. So degree of operating leverage is given as 1.40. Percentage change in earning before interest and tax upon percentage change in quantity, that is 15%. So multiplying 15% with 1.4, so the change in earnings will be 15% times 1.4, 21%. 21%. Let's see. Yes, so based upon the Exhibit 1 and 3, Qphone's expected percentage change in operating income, that is EBIT, for 2010 is closest to 21%. B is the right answer. Next, break-even quantity of units. 4G break-even quantity. Mind the word break-even quantity. So when it says break-even quantity, you will have to consider the fixed operating cost as well as fixed financing expense, both. And you know the denominator, so let's go back to the scenario. We have to calculate the break-even quantity, which means we will have to consider these both. We will have to consider not only the fixed operating cost of 22.5 million, we will also need to consider the fixed financing expense of 9 million yens and divide it with the unit contribution margin. How do we calculate the unit contribution margin? Unit selling price minus unit variable cost, that's 108 minus 72. If you simplify this, you should get 875,000 units. So these are the units. If you sell, you will cover your operating cost as well as your fixed financing cost. 875C is the correct option. Next. In response to Cho's questions regarding an increase in unit sales above 2009, it is most likely that 4G's net income will increase by. Now this is the exhibit we will use. 4G's data is given. We have been given the number of units produced and sold, sales price, as well as variable cost. We will have to calculate the degree of total leverage in order to determine the likely increase in earnings. So let us calculate the degree of total leverage applying this formula. Degree of total leverage is equal to quantity into selling price minus variable cost upon the same in the denominator, same Q, SP, minus variable cost, minus fixed operating cost, FOC, and minus fixed financing cost. This will give you degree of total leverage in one step. Plug in the numbers. That's 1 million into 108 minus 72 upon 1 million into 108 minus 72 minus 22.5 million and minus 9 million. It will give you a final number of 8. Okay. Now this is your degree of total leverage. Right. What did it say in the question? Let's go back. Degree of total leverage for 4G. We can calculate the degree of total leverage by multiplying the degree of operating leverage and degree of financial leverage. Multiplying these two, that is 1.4 multiplied by 1.15 will give you 1.61. So total leverage for 4G is 8 and degree of total leverage for Qphone is 1.61. So if there is some change, if there is 1% change in sales revenue or sales quantity, it will increase the total profitability for Qphone by 1.6. And for 4G, it will be 8%. If your quantity increases by 10%, it will increase the profitability for Qphone by 16.1%. Whereas for 4G, it will be 10 times 8, 80%. Since the degree of total leverage for 4G is higher, so it will result in more profitability in case if there is a change in number of units sold. Now, since we just saw that 4G has a degree of total leverage 8, whereas Qphone has a degree of total leverage of 1.61, so it is most likely that 4G's net income will increase faster at a faster rate than Qphone. Why? Because it has a total leverage of 8, whereas the degree of total leverage for Qphone is 1.6. So its net income will increase at a much faster rate. That makes C to be the correct option. Next. The most appropriate response to Cho's question regarding the description of the degree of total leverage is that degree of total leverage, the percentage change in net income divided by the percentage change in units sold. Yes, we just discussed this. Net income and units sold, they are related in degree of total leverage. This one, the percentage change in operating income divided by the percentage change in units sold, this is the degree of operating leverage. The percentage change in net income divided by the percentage change in operating income, this is the degree of financial leverage. But when you combine these two together, this is what you get, and this is what you call the degree of total leverage, and that's what makes A to be the correct option.